We are connecting with Coach Groce of Ohio. Go Bobcats, John!
How we doing?
Congratulations, Coach.
Hey, I appreciate it. Our kids did a great job. I thought they played with great toughness, and they're a fun group to be around. There's no doubt about that.
You know, I saw both games, and I want to talk to you specifically about those games. But this, you had a great season. I was looking at your entire season, and it looked like Keith had the edge at the end of the MAC regular season. We televised all the games. I was watching them. But you got into that postseason tournament, and what a way to conclude it with that classic game against Akron.
Oh, it was a high-level game. I have so much respect for Akron and how good they are, and how well coached they are. And I tell you what it's brought into perspective for me as we played the two games, Bruce, was how good our league was and how well it prepared us to play those two games over the weekend.
Yeah, and you know what else, too? This is the first time, the MAC has been much maligned, and I think that's very, very unfair, Coach. Ohio University has a great tradition in the NCAA tournament, even though this is the first time that you have led the Bobcats to the Sweet 16, I believe, since 1964, but you controlled both of these games against Michigan and then against South Florida.
Well, it's interesting. It may have felt that way from a fan's perspective until that horn goes off. I tell my assistants now, this stuff used to feel different when these games were like this when I was sitting one seat over. But you never feel like it's over until that buzzer rings. But I will tell you, in yesterday's game, the last 10 minutes of the game, we're down 42-39. And even in the timeouts, I could just look in our guys' eyes, and I could tell that there was no way they were going to allow us to lose. And I thought our toughness was incredible the last 10 minutes of the game yesterday.
Yeah, your kids played inspired ball. A little background on the program: 13th appearance in the NCAA tournament for the Bobcats, and this was the 6th Mid-American Conference title since '83. Marks the first time in Ohio's history that the Bobcats have won the NCAA tournament as a 13 seed. That's got to make you feel good, too.
It does, obviously. Anytime you can get in the tournament, I tell our guys all the time, the only thing better than being in the tournament is advancing in the tournament. And, to have a chance to do that twice in a 3-year period is really special. Also,
reaching the 20-win mark faster than any other Ohio team has done, 13th time in the program's history. Your 12-1 start, tied for the best start in Ohio University's history, and you're 4th in the nation in steals per contest, and that's defense, Coach.
It is, and that's been something we've been selling, Bruce, since the spring. I really thought in order for our program to take the next step that we had to be more imposing on the defensive end. And, early on in the year, our offense wasn't up to the task, but our defense allowed us to win games. And now here, all of a sudden, in about the last 6 weeks of the season, our offense has caught up with our defense, and I feel like we're a much more complete basketball team.
What did you feel you had to do to beat Michigan? They were coming in with a lot of momentum, playing really tough ball, particularly in the second half of the round-robin season in the Big Ten.
Well, I thought the biggest thing was we had to defend the three. They are such a prolific three-point shooting team, and it's easier said than done because they're so well coached. They execute at such a high level. They have such great spacing. And oftentimes, Bruce, they're putting 4 and sometimes 5 three-point shooters out there at once. So it really makes it tough. But our guys, I kept thinking if our guys we can hold them to 7 threes or less was kind of what I told the staff I thought we would win, and that's exactly what they ended up making.
And I know that Coach Heath, formerly at Kent State, isn't that ironic, too? You were formerly at Ohio State, but he was at Kent. And with South Florida now, he was incredibly complimentary of you and your kids in the effort beating his team.
Yeah, it was nice of him to do that. I got a lot of respect for Stan. And, we talk about building our program, and obviously that's gotten a lot of attention here in the last week or two. But what a job Stan has done. Phenomenal. I mean, you look at where he was when they started, when he got there, and where they are now. My hat's off to them. They compete hard. They defend. His kids are tough. They have his personality, and I got a lot of respect for their team, and I thought they were a terrific basketball team as I watched them on film.
And, you know, John, all this does is give your kids more confidence. Not only the rigors, as we've already discussed, with the MAC schedule, the regular conference, then the postseason. Now you've knocked off 2 schools from 2 big conferences.
Yeah, it's obviously a big step for us, you know, and our kids love the opportunity to play against those type of teams. And, you know, you don't get an opportunity very often to play those teams on a neutral court. It's pretty rare. And then our guys were excited to play on the big stage. And, you know, I thought that we played very loose, very aggressive. I thought we were focused at the same time. And, you know, that paid huge dividends for us.
You know, everybody knows about Cooper and even Kellogg because of Clark, but I was impressed with Baltic and Keeley and Offit. Nice complementary cast.
No question. You know, we've been a very versatile and deep team all year long. You know, we had in the last 5 postseason games, we had 6 players average 7 or more points per game. And then our 7th player averaged 5 points a game. So it's hard to key on us. We're very well balanced. Obviously, DJ Cooper's a big part of what we do on the offensive end. And, you know, he makes us go and makes other guys better. But Offit stepped up and made huge shots last night in the second half to start the second half. And I thought that kind of let the air out of the balloon. And then some other guys started making shots as well, and it became contagious.
Well, your next assignment's against a school from somewhere in the Carolinas, I heard.
Yeah, we've got a great challenge on Friday. The kids are looking forward to it. They're a very good basketball team, obviously coached by a Hall of Famer, guy I really respect a lot and have enjoyed getting to know. So it'll be a great challenge, but our kids are, like I said, they're going to be ready. We're going to prepare them like we always do, and you know, they'll be ready to come out and be aggressive and go after this thing on Friday night.
Now, how do you approach your kids? They watch television. They know about Marshall's broken wrist, and Carolina may play this to the hilt, Coach. They may not reveal until the end of the week, right before the game. I don't know if they're required to or what about his status. But how do you? I know you've got to prepare as if he's going to play and he's 110%, even though realistically everybody in the country knows he's not. But I'm interested in how you get into the mindset of your kids with that.
Well, I think we'll prepare as if he's playing, and then we can always adjust and adapt from there. I'll have a game plan in mind that might have an adaptation or two based on that, but you know, we're going to prepare as if he's playing.
Henson too.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, we're going to prepare as if they got their full cast of characters, and then we'll go from there.
How do you defend Bradford?
I'm sorry?
How do you defend Bradford?
Yeah, Harrison Barnes.
Oh, Barnes. Harrison Barnes, right.
Yeah, well, obviously he's a tough cover because he's got extraordinary size for a guy that can play both inside and out. He's really skilled. He's athletic. He's got a great frame. And, you know, it's going to be a challenge. We're going to have to give him different looks and put different people on him. And you know, it'll be a constant you know, chess match with him over the course of 40 minutes. Well,
your kids have got to be incredibly excited. How's the campus now that you're back? That's got to really be exhilarating.
Well, it's pretty neat to see the video my wife showed me on YouTube of after we beat Michigan Friday night, what Court Street looked like. It looked like Mardi Gras. You know, it was it was pretty neat. And after that, though, the students have been on spring break. In fact, a lot of them en route to Florida stopped down and went to the game in Nashville. We sold more tickets than any of the teams that were in Nashville. And there were times in the second half, Bruce, where we made a couple runs where I felt like it was a home game. The band was incredible, cheerleaders incredible, student body. There were alums there, former players, people traveled, and you know, Bobcat Nation was out in full force.
Oh, that's fantastic. It's great for you, for the entire Ohio University faculty and student body and alums. And isn't it ironic, Coach, I'm sure you know this, this is the first time that 4 teams, there's 4 teams from the state of Ohio that are in the Sweet 16, but this is the first time that's ever happened to any state in the country in the history of the tournament.
Yeah, it's pretty neat for the state of Ohio, and a good portion of the kids on the 4 teams are Ohio kids. I mean, I think it speaks volumes of, not only college basketball in our state, but what a great job the high school coaches do in our state. They're very well coached. When you get an Ohio kid, 90% of the time he's going to have a clue of what he's doing before you get him. Extreme advantage. I was talking to a guy that coaches another team deep in the South, and he was talking to me about the difference between Midwest kids with IQ and understanding of how to play and how well coached they are. And, obviously we're blessed with that situation in the state of Ohio.
Well, listen, Coach, we're all behind you. We'll be cheering for you against the heels of Coach Williams. And go get them.